Good morning, good day, and good evening. Welcome to Hospitality Insights. Learn how artificial intelligence is changing the travel and tourism. This is a very exciting topic, and I'm sure you will get a lot of value because I have a guest who is an expert and a world-class author on this topic. But before we start, please put your name and where you are viewing from so I can give you a shout out. I know we have viewers from around the world because we are going live on YouTube, LinkedIn Live, and Facebook. And also, of course, we are live on the Malta Hotels and Restaurant Association's Facebook page. So welcome. Now, if you have any questions or any comments, write down and I will make sure that we are flagging them as we go along so you have a chance to get your questions answered. So, as I mentioned, my guest today is Lasse Rouhiainen. He's a best-selling author and international expert on artificial intelligence, disruptive technologies, and digital marketing, and a trainer for business schools and universities. And he has also recently published another book, so we'll be talking about that also. But before we start, I also like to thank our partners in Malta, who is with whom I'm producing this particular show. I'd like to recognize Malta Hotel and Restaurant Association, Mediterranean Tourism Foundation, Visit Malta, and Ministry of Tourism of Malta, and of course winning.training, which is the online course portal, which provides training for hospitality professionals and also for leadership who want to brush up their skills. So let's get started, and I will bring in my guest. So look forward to the show and just buckle your seatbelts. Hello, Lasse, and warm welcome.
Hi, Sam-Erik. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, I'm very excited because I have also had a number of people who have been asking me, when is Lasse coming on for this show? I said, well, we'll fix a date because we have a schedule, but I'm glad we could match our schedules and have a chance now to discuss some very interesting topics, and particularly since we haven't talked for a while, the pandemic has affected us, and I was wondering how this may have affected you in 2020 and moving into 2021.
Yeah, thank you again for invitation. It's my pleasure to be here again. And as you said, pandemic has changed the world really dramatically. And I would say that we don't still know everything that it will change. It's still changing many things, right? And that's why we need to be really alert. We need to learn new things. And also we need to learn how to use new technology. So in Spain, for example, Spain is the biggest or one of the biggest tourism destinations in the world. But it said that the first 60 days of the confinement accelerated the usage of technology the same as 5 years in a normal life. And this is really huge improvement. And for the hotel industry, I would say that this is both excellent opportunity and also a big threat. Because many hotels are kind of like still thinking like business as usual, and we just open the doors and tourists come in, and that's all we have to do, right? So anyhow, it has been interesting. Obviously, it has been really sad, this pandemic, but it has been interesting to follow all these technological trends and how they are growing.
Yes, I mean, I agree with you. This has been hotels and tourism businesses have been sitting a little bit sort of laid back because the 2019 was a great year, and also for Spain it was a fantastic year. But of course, with the pandemic affecting it, kind of just stopped everything, and of course the major businesses that Spain is relying on, also other destinations that has mass tourism as a major contributor to the GDP dropped also. So kind of have to rethink. And you're so right when you're saying that, when people are saying that, well, we're just waiting for things to get normal. I think the word normal is the wrong word, because you have to think it's going to be different, and how it's going to be different. How can I make the difference myself in order to to kickstart this business, or maybe I have to think about a different business model?
Totally. Go on.
Yeah. Just looking at the role of AI, because that's your area of expertise. What are some looking at maybe few in the future, because this is a possibility that and a distinct possibility of these pandemics hit us again. Is there anything in the AI that can help us to possibly prevent pandemics like COVID-19 in the future? Is there something in the technology that is already available now, or that's in the pipeline that you think is going to be beneficial for this in the prevention aspect?
Right. And I think that's a really positive thing, because AI will be, I would say AI will be solution or part of the solution for most of the biggest problems we will have in the future, including climate change. And for pandemic, what's needed is data. So when this started, we didn't have data. In fact, as you know, I was giving one lecture over there in Haaga-Helia. I think you were there as well. And I said that it was interesting that this pandemic was first picked up by a small startup AI company, something like 13 days before World Health Organization. And the reason is that that company is following data, and it's following different data inputs. And then they made the conclusion that something weird is happening in this situation or in this place in China, and it must be something like that could grow up to be a pandemic. So therefore, what we need to do is better collaboration, obviously, between countries. But AI and data analytics will for sure be like the key priority now, as we have learned this. And I would say that this is also really good, because until now, we could say that the most or part of the big power and the money and investment of AI has gone to things that are not that important in our life. For example, how much we click on ads on Facebook and Google. People would be amazed on how much money is spent on that, and how less really important things like pandemic prevention or education and health.
Yeah. I know. This is maybe people are waking up now finally on what they will need to do differently, and how this will maybe help them to recover some of the ways they have lost contact to the customers, because they have been using third-party aggregators to get their business, and they realize they don't know their own customer, because they don't have their email address, they don't have their contact details. It's just somebody who comes through the third-party aggregator, and the guest checks in, he leaves, and they never step by the cashier because they have already paid in advance everything. So this is a really huge wake-up call now for a number of hotels. I mean, I'm not talking about those large hotel chains or hotel companies, but there are mid-sized and smaller players that might be independent hotels that are when they started their business. For instance, in Lapland, a good example. I was talking to one of the hotel owners, and he opened the hotel in 2016. So I asked him, well, how do you get your customers? How do you get your bookings? Well, I do like everybody else. I'm using the usual suspects to book everything for me. They do the marketing. I don't have to lift a leg because they are taking care of it. They bring my customers. So how many % of your business are you expect to come? Well, at least 60%. And what is the cost of all that? Well, then he got a little quiet. He realized that this is totally out of control, and it has been spent out of control. And that makes it now the wake-up call where the hotels will have to do something differently. So maybe you can share some ideas about the collection of data and what are the ways that the hotels can now do things a little bit differently in order for them to capture what they have lost now over a couple of years.
Right, and I think your example there is really valid. So number one would be that every hotel owner, like the one in Lapland, should be starting to do data analytics. And data analytics nowadays is not like having an Excel sheet and trying to figure out something really basic, but it's using tools like Microsoft Power BI. So one company in Basque Country that I was helping, one small hotel, that's what they did. So they hired a company that helps them to put all of the sales data and transactions from the last year to Power BI and understand it a little bit better as to what is the origin of their customers, how many repeated customers they have had, and many, many other things. So the more we learn from our customers, more we can use this information in our marketing and in our benefit. So this is I would say the tip number one. And the other one is, like you said, it's really dangerous to be always, I mean, these kind of companies, we don't have to name the names, but they are great because they provide a lot of bookings to hotels, but it's really dangerous if they don't work, right? So that's why we need to start using more tools and understand how we can do better marketing. And I would say also use new technology platforms that will take off the intermediaries. Let's say that the positive thing that comes from this pandemic is that many technologies such as AI and blockchain has received a stunning amount of investment, because it's always in the time of crisis when the new platforms, new systems are being built. This actually happened when the last financial crisis happened. That's when we had like iPhone and many other new discoveries and innovations and so on. So yeah, companies need to totally restructure, rethink, and be really alert to many technological innovations.
How could companies become more agile and react quicker to change in demand? You mentioned earlier that we could look at one of those disruptors when it comes to the digital transformation.
Yeah, there's many things, but let's say the word you mentioned, digital transformation, that's exactly what it is. Like I said, Spain is, I think, number 2 travel destination in the world. And it's funny, still a few years ago, I think this was 5 years ago or something, but somewhere in Spain, I don't have to say where, but it was funny, there were still some family-owned hotels that were still using fax to get the reservation, which was quite funny. So digital transformation has many parts. One of them, maybe the most important, is everybody in your company needs to be trained about digital, what digital means, and what communicating in different digital channels with our customers mean, and how we can analyze data, how we can make decisions based on data, not just decisions based on our intuition or our knowledge on what happened before. Because that's the other thing of this pandemic, is we cannot act as before, pre-pandemic. We have to act as post-pandemic. So I recommend every company to have like a inside program where we would train everybody of different skills and competencies related on digitalization of tourism. And then obviously we need to make better digital marketing and use, for example, these kind of systems. I mean, every hotel should be using this to make their own transmissions, make their own weekly communications with their customers, because that will grow much more your, how would I say, loyalty to your clients. And those will then reserve directly from you, and you can save a lot of fees that you are paying for the middleman. And then, for example, one area is this using digital and technological platforms and tools. So interesting thing about AI and other technologies is that one thing is obviously use it directly. This is what big hotels are already doing, like Marriott and many others who have a lot of data. They are already doing this, obviously. But then smaller ones who don't have that much data, they need to start with first Power BI by Microsoft. And then after that, they would also use different technology platforms that are enabling to connect them with their customers. And actually, I sent you one website. I don't know if you had it, or one news that came out some time ago. And this is really interesting because, like I said, during the pandemic, technologies like blockchain has been growing hugely. And there's one company in England called Fletch AI, which intends to do exactly that. They intend to use blockchain and AI together in order to create different networks and different ecosystems where we would not need anymore things like Booking or TripAdvisor. So as you can see from this news from SiliconANGLE, it says that Fletch AI is bringing AI travel agents to more than 500,000 hotels. Basically, what they are intending to do is to let tourism or tourists book directly in the hotel, but with much less fees that is happening right now with the service of Booking, TripAdvisor, or others who normally take 15 to 20%, which is a lot of money. And so the good thing of this is the technology will bring value both to the end customer, but also to the hotel owners who understand to be the first ones to position themselves in these kind of platforms. And I don't say that this will be great in the day one, but I just say that these kind of systems will grow fast, because when we can save money, it's evident that it will bring benefit and people will start using them.
So in practicality, how does this Fetch.ai operate? I mean, just to understand their concept.
Right.
I understand that the lower fees, but everything else I would need to understand.
Right. We can actually put the link later on the show notes and so on. Everybody can read it more. But the basic idea is that I don't know, is it like a website or something? But the basic idea is that there's first there's blockchain where everything like the transactions are registered and so on, and then there's like an AI which is helping tourists and travel agents and so on to book different hotels. Okay, according to their personalization and so on. Booking already does some personalization, but like we said, takes a lot of money and it's a huge business. And I have to say, Booking has been growing, and we have to give them a lot of credit on what they are doing. However, their business model is a business model of like Web 2.0. This one is Web 3.0, where we have consumer and then we have a product. Okay, and between these two, there's no middleman. Okay, right now we have things like Booking, we have things like Amazon and many others that takes a lot of commission, and the share value is growing all the time. And so that's the idea. But I'm not like expert on it and so on. But the idea is that you can save on fees by or both hotels and tourists could save money.
Yeah, but I think the key message is really that look at all the new disruptors that are coming on board, because there are advantages, and just need to understand. I think because some of the particularly maybe independent hotels may not have a budget for someone to be fully integrated into the system. They are now, I'm hearing quite a bit about how tourism companies, restaurant businesses, and large hotel companies are hiring people who specifically understands the digital transformation. I just said, I thought I want to ask you that this is the time for that the hotel company or hotel should have their own AI officer, rather than maybe just consider that not adding more people to the whole game, but they have an expert who can fully strategize this for hotel and also to help them to grow their business.
Yeah, that's a good question. I say that the title would be something like Chief Digital Officer or Chief Data Officer. Again, this varies how big the company is. If it's really big, obviously, then they will have like Marriott and others, they will have many like data scientists and so on. But I would say Chief Digital Agent or Head of Digital or something like this would be a person who would be responsible of the team that runs digital marketing, or whose responsibility is digital marketing, and the team that runs different AI experiments. And this is really interesting, because the problem, Sam-Erik, with AI, like is that it's not so easy. I mean, it's easy to understand, but it's not so easy to apply, because it's not like it's not like a program that you buy and you install and you walk away and it always works. But rather, there's many ways companies and hotels could be using AI, and we don't never know what's the best way to use, or if we have enough return on investment in the first time. After the pandemic, many business owners and hotel owners have been really, how would I say, obviously it has been really difficult, and they need this assurance that it will have return on investment. So actually in my book, I talk about that many companies and consultants who are offering AI. What they do now is they try to make some kind of first example or proof of concept that could prove the return on investment in order to get like relaxed atmosphere to then take the next experimentation and so on, because the companies need to see that this makes money for them. So what I'm saying here is that digital head of digital or something like that. And then this mindset is also difficult. I also talk that nowadays leaders need to be analytical leaders. Okay, so it's like you have to understand data analytics, and your decisions have to come and be based on data. Then you can use other factors as well, but no more we can just say that, oh, I just feel like it, or my cousin used to study in Harvard and that's why we take this decision or something like that. And also increasingly we will have more data available, which is, by the way, something I recommend all tourism destinations to do. I don't know if Finland is doing this quite well. One city that's working really well in this digitalization is city of Helsinki. They're doing many things, but I don't know if they have like free data sources. This is really interesting because if I'm a hotel in Helsinki, I could use free data sources. And this weekend, I found that city of Madrid actually has like a AI, some kind of AI project or something. There's like a website, and from this website you can find like 400 different free data sources, which are interesting. So you can have like weather data, or let's say, I don't know if, or how people move inside the city and so on. All these are really interesting. You can later give this information to people who are expert on AI, and they can build you or build some kind of systems that could predict when there's like more people coming for business travel or something like that.
That's very interesting. I just it was just in fact news yesterday about a company, is a Finnish hamburger company who has maybe two outlets and or three outlets, and they want to grow internationally. And the owner and who came up with this stuff, who started this, he has hired a managing director or CEO for his company who's coming from the IT sector. Nothing to do with hamburgers, nothing to do with the food, but he's clearly coming from the IT sector because he's going to bring the creativity about creating food. He leaves to the experts who has started the company, but who's going to then to fast forward the growth of the company, and then they will think about automation will take care of all the boring jobs, so it becomes more efficient, it's more cost efficient, and how they automate maybe the making of hamburger or whatnot. But the case was that the CEO is a IT background, and of course, coming from the IT sector, decisions are made faster, and they are sort of impatient by nature that things need to move forward. So this was quite interesting news, and then just hot off the press from yesterday in Helsinki. Just a case, and there's another case for social media. Another company was looking for a TikTok officer.
Yeah, so that's true. And by the way, that's really interesting. You mentioned TikTok. I'm really bad. I don't have an account because I'm not so good dancing and doing these funny videos. But that's like difficult work. I mean, over there in Helsinki, there's one K market, like supermarket, that the owner does one TikTok every day, and it's amazing. But the hotels could be doing that. I mean, but it's difficult. So you should hire that or outsource that or do something. So these are all like new things that are related to digital, which is growing hugely now after pandemic.
Yeah, one of the things that one of the Gary V, his name is, he's one of the social media influencers. He mentioned that when it comes to TikTok, it's not worthwhile to hire a very expensive influencer on social media, because most of the kids who are using TikTok are more advanced in the usage, and they are very what you mentioned, Lasse, about the dancing part is the shows at your age. It's a long time ago. That's the history of how TikTok started. Now they are creating very creative videos which are 15 seconds, but they are about creativity and also capturing the audience, so that they are glued to watch this and then maybe want to stay for another one. So many companies are actually using TikTok now as they cancel all the regular advertising. I mean, besides the Instagrams, but TikTok is a very important aspect for them because they have an audience there that will follow them very, very easily, and they can grow very fast.
Yeah, and there's less competition because most hotels and companies don't know how to use it.
Yeah, exactly. Should we look a little bit about how some hotels have taken AI to the next level? And
Yeah.
you mentioned there's a hotel in China that is has done something a little bit extraordinary. Maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, we can check the video. It's actually a part of the Alibaba group, this hotel. And if you can open the video, we can watch the video at the same time as we speak. So this is really interesting to see how much robots should be or should not be inside hotels.
Okay, let's take a look at this, sir.
Welcome to Alibabas Fly Zoo Hotel. The hotel.
So it's the Fly Zoo Hotel.
Yeah, it's called, and it was opened 2 years ago. And we can see here a little bit on what they're doing. The most well-known robot hotel is in Japan, but this is now the most well-known in China. And you can see when the person comes here, he can book. Yeah, and he can see he will make the booking and he will check information without seeing anyone. So again, by the way, if we pause here, can you pause the video?
I think I can, yeah.
Because here it's interesting, we can debate on this, that I think many people are angry, or let's say angry or bored of waiting in these lines when you're really tired and you are just doing checking. So for example, just the checking will be interesting to see how companies and how hotels will be able to optimize it. This hotel goes all in on technology, so you can do it with your mobile phone, and you have like an app for that company. And obviously, China is much more advanced on this, and so they are doing it well. But this is the part of robotization which I kind of like. But then another thing that I do not like if I go to the hotel is that if I don't see any human beings there, it's kind of like, it makes me feel sad. It's like, where are you going, right? So I think it should combine with some kind of guest manager who will be at least smiling to you and saying good night or something like this. What do you think yourself?
Well, I think the positive things about using a mobile device is that the smartphones, the mobile devices are so advanced that it is more like a solution to your problems or what you have, and most people will ask the questions they have from the mobile device. And I think it's it's typical idea when you're booking a hotel. You really like to know what kind of hotel room you get. You really like to know what kind of view you get. And I think the app that they have created for this hotel is great for that purpose, that you have the decision making on the room you're getting is with you, not in arbitrary with someone else in the staff. Because how do you feel? You go to a room, you bring your family to a room, and then and you looked at the websites and how wonderful it looked like, and once you go up to a room, you end up looking at a building on the opposite side, where we don't get the view of the mountain or the valley that you saw in the website. So I think it's a good thing that you can use this tool to choose a room and so amenities. But I think that the essence of hospitality is service, and the passion for service, and comes from a face-to-face interaction with someone. And usually the thing is that when people are going in a hotel and they're leaving the hotel, what is the things that they remember from the hotel? There was some interaction with someone, or a small surprise that happened to them in a pleasant way, which makes them remember the hotel again. It's rarely anything that, well, this was great and so on. So I think that the key is that you have all this technology should be not the in the starring role, but it's just supporting that idea that what you need in order to make it functionally and make it easy for you. And check-in is perfect example that I still like to see someone who is welcoming, because that's the first impression which you only have one chance to do, a first impression that you make people feel welcome. And I agree with you that an app is not even emoji is not going to be the way, but the app can work in many different ways when you want to have a quick answer to something.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a really good point. And I also agree that people will remember those things that happened with other people, with the personnel of hotel.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue, Asi.
Yeah, so then he gets to the elevator, which I think it's very cool that the photo of him is recognized, so they will take him directly to the floor. In fact, so I think he would not have to press the floor button. He gets up to the room, and also the door opens. I think that's very good. How annoying is it you forget your room key somewhere?
The Fly Zoo Hotel has 290 rooms, each with a Tmall Genie smart.
And then you have Siri or Alexa there. What do you think about this conversational? Somebody's listening to you all the time.
If you want to pause the video, we can comment again. So I think there's good things and bad things. The bad thing, I actually used to have Alexa just here next to me, but I have never used it. So why I don't use it, I see it as the first level AI. And first level AI is where it's like, wow, this is AI, this is interesting. But we forget that we have to give all kinds of private information to make these companies build better systems and be richer. So that's bad, and there's no privacy prevention. So right now, also I mentioned that there's a lot of privacy preventing or privacy preserving technologies and privacy preserving algorithms. One of them is called federated learning, which is really interesting. I'm not an expert on that, but I think it's an amazing idea, where we don't give our data. I mean, and also in Finnish newspapers, there has been news that even those families in Finland who have like Google Now, or what's the name, Google Home, they have been listened by people who work in Google, right? And in order, because their job is to make that learning, understand better what people are saying. But then those people have said that, oh, it feels so awkward and it's so anti-ethical to, be listening to others' conversation. So my response, if I go to the hotel room, if there's a Google Alexa, let's say if there's a tool from any big company that makes their money by data or using other people's data, I'm not using it, and I'm not going to that hotel room. Why? Again, for me, they are like 1.0 level AI, and we need to go to the 2.0 level, which is that where we preserve the privacy. So there's a lot of startups doing this already. In France, there's one startup that you can have this kind of tool, but it's like it works without online connection, and the information is not shared with cloud, and so on and so forth. So there's many examples. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with this Alexa. I mean, I like the idea that you have, that somebody will listen if you need something, or it can be used as a let's say there's an emergency and you need some immediate assistance, and that's where I see the benefit of it. And this kind of Alexa is very useful in other situations, not necessarily in the hotel, but if there are some hospitals or nursing homes, and that's where I think it could be of great value. Okay, shall we take a look at how our friend is enjoying the rest of his stay there? That's quite cool. The curtains are gone. Oh, he got thirsty. He needs another one. When you stay in hotels, do you use room service, by the way?
I normally don't. I don't know why. Maybe I should use more. This is
You
interesting. That
eat a
robot.
club sandwich coming out of that one?
Input a passcode that was sent to me via text, and the
I think
lock was
only
signed.
the bottle.
Robots
Yeah.
What do you think
also
about this
recognize
robot
other
bringing the
items,
room service?
even the meals at the
No, I
hotel's
think
restaurants.
I really enjoy more of the idea that I really enjoy the idea that if and when you order room service and maybe it's a breakfast, that actually somebody brings the breakfast and lays out the table, and you have all your eggs and whatever what you enjoy eating for breakfast. And I think that's one of the things that and also when you finish, somebody will come and collect the trolley with all the food. I think that's part of the what I call in-room dining. I mean, but of course there is a case here where you have you need something very quickly, and then it's whether it's a towel or a bottle of water or something like that. I think that makes sense. But for a full-fledged meal for people who like room service, in fact, the things have changed with the room service, that many hotels don't have a room service, but they have. You can contact a restaurant in the neighborhood that will deliver the food, and that food is delivered to you, whether it's you have to pick it up from the lobby. But that it has changed, because when I came during my first years in hotels, the company one company I worked for, we had a strict policy. We were not allowed to recommend any other restaurant except for what's in the hotel, which I think is a little bit very old-fashioned.
Yeah, how have things changed after that?
Yeah. This was the whole idea. Then minibar was a big thing, and many hotels don't have a minibar anymore because it's.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
You have some dry snacks, and depending how efficient the people are who are checking that there's no expired goods in there. So I think those things have changed.
Yeah.
Okay, our friend is having a nice exercise here. Well, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, here there's not. That exercise is quite normal. There's nothing special on that. I mean, not normal, but it's in many places. Okay, and I think that's the whole video. And this was kind of like. Okay, so there was two people. He meets two people there before leaving, so at least some human connection. Maybe that's good. And this is the company. But yeah. So yeah, but I would say that the best combination is this combination of AI and human beings. I think that's always in the healthcare sector, in the educational sector, and also here in tourism. So it's interesting. We also have to remember that tourism has been one of the sectors that has mostly been hit by pandemic and all these restrictions. So therefore, obviously, many hotels don't have money to invest on AI. They are barely surviving, and this is normal. So again, I think this will be something that the bigger hotel chains will increase their spending. Actually, Gartner said something that the bigger companies have been increasing their spending, everything related to digitalization and cloud technologies. So it makes sense. But I think for smaller ones, it will be difficult. And the other thing I would say is like just work and try to work and get your own clients using, YouTube Live and LinkedIn Live and so on. And advertising on Facebook is still good. But and then using better digital communications such as WhatsApp, right? Here in Spain, there's one company, Casual Hotels. They have, I think, 15 different hotels, and they are one of the only ones. Maybe some others have also WhatsApp service where before you come to the hotel, you will receive a WhatsApp that has all the information on where to park, how is the weather, and it's really, really nice and free, and they can then get more loyal customers thanks to that.
Yeah, I like the idea also that using WhatsApp, and some of the hotels that are excellent. And in fact, was a friend of mine who stayed in Barcelona in a hotel, and one of what made it stay memorable, actually, what he said was that the staff, the way the staff communicated with him on WhatsApp was like like a friend would communicate on
Wow.
On WhatsApp and with emojis and so on, and so clearly there was that generation who live on these apps, and they know how to use it effectively, and send maybe a quick video. If somebody said, well, how do I get to Plaza de so-and-so, and then 5 seconds later there's a picture of the place, or it's a link where you can get the direction. So when it's done in this way, that means that it's very helpful and very useful. Trying to then I like the idea now how the mobile device has changed the way we live, where the technology has changed where you can speaking in Finnish to ask a question, and the other person hears it in the language. Maybe you are in Spain if you don't speak Spanish, but then it translates at least good enough that you can have a little bit of a conversation going on. So a lot of these things I actually like what has been happening.
Yeah, of course. And they will make like everything faster and better. And I just wanted to highlight that fact that you also said that it's like so important to get this guest experience and those surprises and those things, because otherwise, if all of us go to a hotel where there's no human beings, it's really sad. And maybe we also have to highlight that the first hotel in the world was called Henna Hotel in Japan, that started this, that almost everything was robots, some of them really ugly looking robots like dinosaurs and so on. I don't know what was the idea there. And interestingly, 1 year ago or 1.5 years ago, they fired some of the robots and hired more people back. So this was really interesting. And now they have a mixture of robots that do something really, let's say, repetitive, and something where people want to have faster service. And then they have, people working that help and have that kind of human experience and storytelling and so on.
Yeah. The thing is that one of the things, this has been mentioned many times about what makes an experience so memorable that becomes a story that you discuss about the experience, and then then the story continues. So you tell a friend who will tell a friend, and then that story lives on. And those are very small things, and they are the famous examples of families going to a hotel, and the child forgot their favorite toy, and then the hotel take that extra effort to send a picture about this toy who was staying behind, having a little bit of a holiday, and then they created a story around it. So there are many very cute stories how hotels who are innovative, and they use then the social media then to make this expand the whole experience, not only for the family to whom it happened, but also to the people who are following them on Instagram or Facebook and so on. So, but I think that isn't idea that hotels should have an opportunity for at the low cost, at least monetary low cost, to get themselves doing things like you and me are doing. We're having a discussion here, and if I would be a hotel, maybe I would walk around the neighborhood and show them what's going on there, because that's what I'm interested in, not the room and the fruit basket in the room.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. And we all the time we have better connections. Now we will have 5G and so on. So making this kind of live video makes more sense than ever before, and it will increase the loyalty towards customers, or customers' loyalty.
Yeah. What is your view on the 5G? Now the iPhone manufacturers are drumming up how great it is, but is it? Are we more in the beginning of the whole technology of how 5G actually could work? And what is your view on this?
Right. Well, I'm not like a big expert on it, but it's basically biggest or really extremely important improvement where things like I think there was a news that Nokia has some kind of factory in Oulu, which is like 500 or 600 kilometers from Helsinki, and they can do some things. In that factory they can do it from Helsinki thanks to the 5G connections, which is amazing. And also you can now do like operations if you are a doctor in Spain, in Africa or something, because if both have 5G connections and so on. So all of a sudden, I would say the biggest improvements will be seen in industry and for companies, with 5G, because all of a sudden something that was not able to be done can now be done. And I would also say that this will again accelerate the innovation, and it will accelerate different new apps and systems that we cannot even imagine right now. Same as with WhatsApp. Like 15 years ago, who could know that WhatsApp will be so powerful, because we didn't have so fast communication, so we didn't know we would need that kind of system. And by the way, I'm not a promoter of WhatsApp. I also like Signal better, because Signal is totally private, encrypted, and so on and so forth, and it doesn't share your information. But anyhow, the idea is this, that 5G will definitely help businesses a lot, and maybe that's also another value avenue of learning and for companies to understand how it will change travel, how it will change hotel business.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Lasse. Maybe just sort of a final thoughts on the future of tourism and artificial intelligence. I know we not talk about 10 years from now, but in the next few years, where do you think the AI, which direction is the AI development going, and how this could benefit the hotel in Lapland or the nice hotel in Spain that are owned by a couple or so on?
Yeah. So the basic idea of AI is that it's a tool, and thanks to this tool, we can, or that tool and other tools, we can accomplish something better that we are not able to do now. And one of that is personalization. So personalization right now without any technology is quite difficult to do. I think in Spain there's one company or one hotel that's checking if you reserve your trip via TripAdvisor, they will check what comments you have done in hotels. And if you say, let's say that you really like red wine, when you come to this hotel, you will have a bottle of red wine in your room, which is a great personalization if you do it in a right way, right? So what they are using a tool which is a website where there's a lot of comments. And I would say what we already talked, which is data analytics. There's so many things we can do with data analytics. First, we would be analyzing our own data, our sales data. Can we make predictions based on data and sales? And then after, we would be analyzing what external data we have. What external data we have? Well, there's a lot of data on TripAdvisor, a lot of amazing data. First about our hotel, okay? Then there's a lot of data about our competitors, and then there's data about our destination, okay? So many times it's kind of like, or sometimes, not many times, but sometimes hotel owners think that they know what people like or want, okay? But because they have heard some stories and so on. But if you really want to know what people want, you will hire data scientist, and he or she will first extract all that data, because the good thing of TripAdvisor data is you can extract it. Obviously, there's tools for this. There's like a whole industry behind this, offering data-based products for hotels. So anyhow, but what I would be analyzing, I would use these tools, or I would hire somebody for free. For myself, you can use sites like Fiverr.com or Upwork.com, and you can have your own data scientist helping you to understand data and so on. So I would analyze, like I said, everything about my hotel, all the comments, everything of my competitors, what people say if they like pizza or whatever, and then the destination. Like you say, people go to destinations and they want to know what's now happening in these destinations. And from that data, that also, when you make a conclusion, that conclusion can be converted to business value, right? And that's important. And then there's a lot of tools for this. But yeah, that would be one thing. And I would then take basic courses about data analytics for leaders, basic courses about AI for leaders, and then I would be also having this attitude that we all are changing, and in our company, everybody needs to do some kind of courses and learning about digitalization and so on. So I don't know, those are just few things, but there's obviously many things. And maybe last idea is to share this new tendency, which is called low code, no code tools. And this means that right now, if you are a programmer and you know Python programming language, for example, you can make AI applications and you can use different cloud-based services from companies such as Amazon, Google, and so on, because they have already fantastic, and I would say IBM as well, fantastic tools online. But you have to be like technical person to do this. Many hotels don't have people for this. They don't know how to hire. The good thing is that more or less like at the end of next year, we should have already different low code or no code tools, which means that creating your own artificial intelligence app will be as easy as now creating a website. Now, how you can create a website is click a few buttons and put text and pictures, and that's it, because there's so good tools. And 20 years ago, it was really difficult. Only few people knew how to make websites. So that's why I like to compare them and understand that right now, before that, you have to understand your business better, and you have to understand how AI works and what are the opportunities, and also what are the different threats and challenges that companies have when they apply AI. But this thing of low code tools are coming, and they will be ever bit better. There might be also directly some for the hotel industries as well.
Very good. Lasse, thank you very much. This has been a very interesting hour where I have learned quite a bit myself, of course, and I'm sure the viewers are learning also. Now, the viewers who would like to follow you on any of the social networks or watch some of your videos and so on, where can they find you?
Yeah, easily. You can add me on LinkedIn. It's the best way to contact me if you have a question. So search my name on LinkedIn and say that you came from this show. And then on my website, which lasserouhiainen.com in English, that has the main things. And obviously all the books are on sale on Amazon as well.
Very good. Well, on this note, then, thank you very much, Lasse, and we will have another episode coming up in the not too distant future.
Looking forward. Thank you, Sam-Erik.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank all the viewers who have joined us today. Now, if you're on YouTube watching the replay, you will see there are a number of videos going to be available. So here you have a chance to click that video and see of the previous interviews I had. I had some opportunity to speak with a number of leaders in the industry. So if you enjoy this, just give me a like. That would be most appreciated. And I look forward to seeing you very soon at the next episode.